A lot of people claim the average American hasn't made much economic progress over the last 30 to 40 years. In the first 3 episodes of this series, I tried to show there's more to the story. The average American and the poor got richer as the economy grew. But I think those gains, if anything, are even bigger than the cheery numbers I shared. That's because all the attempts to measure economic progress, gloomy or cheerful, require an accurate measure of inflation. Measuring inflation is harder than you might think. Here's a Sony color TV from the early 1970s, 21-inch screen, about $600. And here's a Sony today that's $500. So it looks like the price of the TV fell by about 16%. But the $500 Sony is more than twice as big. Does that mean the price is 32% lower today because I get twice as much for my money? That old TV only got a few channels. Today's gets about 1,000. It doesn't break. You can play video games on it. The picture's about a zillion times sharper. And what about the 65-inch Sony that's $1,800 today? Is that 3 times the price of a 1970s TV? Would you consider the 1970s Sony a bargain? And then again, I watch almost all my TV shows on my laptop. So is the price of a TV zero now compared to the past? So just how much a price has gone up or down? It's really hard to measure precisely when the quality of what we buy is improving rapidly. Ironically, when goods and services get better over time, the more likely it is that inflation will be overestimated and changes in the standard of living underestimated. It might look like we're standing still or falling behind when economic life is actually getting a lot better. To get the full picture, behind this problem, let's use a little bit of economics imagination. Imagine you have the chance to go shopping today with your current income, but you can pay the prices of 1973. Now, according to the PCE, a commonly used price index, prices today are about 5 times higher than in 1973. If that's right, whatever your income is today, letting you pay 1973 prices means it should be about 5 times richer. But there's a catch. When you go shopping in this imaginary world, you don't just get the 1973 prices, you also get the 1973 goods and services. So when you go to buy a car, the Honda Civic they show you is the 1973 model. It's a bit stripped down, sure, but it's only $1,973. Really clever marketing back then. Or you could splurge and get yourself a Corvette for under $7,000. The Corvette of 1973 only got about 14 miles per gallon, but that's okay. Gas is only 36 cents a gallon. Your house is going to be a lot cheaper, health care's cheaper, so's your kid's education. Stanford tuition is less than $3,000 a year. That frees up a lot of money to buy more stuff and load up your cart. You can buy anything you want from the 1973 Sears catalog. Polyester pants, the same as those worn here by golfing great Johnny Miller, only $16.95. You don't have to settle for the 21-inch TV. You can easily afford the biggest color television in the catalog, a giant 25-incher, for $719. Of course, it only gets 10 channels, and the picture's not too sharp. There's one other catch. I'm only going to let you buy goods and services that were available in 1973. You can't have any of today's goods that middle-class consumers enjoy if they weren't available back then. I'm not talking about yachts or caviar, but the everyday goods that most Americans can afford. So no smartphone, no rear-view camera when you're backing up your car, no GPS, no airbags in that bargain price Corvette, no Waze to get you home, but you can buy a map for next to nothing at that gas station, charging 36 cents a gallon. No Google, Facebook, Twitter, Yelp, and no educational economics videos on YouTube. Or videos on how to carve a turkey, play the Malfouf rhythm, or learn the difference between the United Kingdom, Britain, and England. No Fortnite or Minecraft or whatever's the hot game when you end up watching this video. But there's a pinball machine at the convenience store in the corner, and it's only 25 cents a game. You can play it for hours. Heck, with your income and the prices you face, you could just buy yourself a pinball machine if you want. For only $24.50, you get a portable cassette recorder that you can carry wherever you go. After all, it only weighs 3 pounds. No 10,000 songs on the phone in your pocket, no Spotify. But cassettes are pretty light, you can carry a bunch. If you're having a heart attack, good news, that visit to the emergency room's a lot cheaper. The doctors will give you aspirin, but no clotbusters or stents or balloon angioplasty. None of those were available in 1973. Would you take the deal? Would you give up the new products and the quality improvements of the last 40 years for the chance to pay 1973 prices? And just to make it fair, let's assume no one else has a smartphone or Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram either, so you're not alone on some kind of tech-free island while your friends are all playing with social media. If you're hesitating, and I think a lot of people would, Maybe the PCE and other price indices don't accurately capture the change in your purchasing power over long periods of time. Paying 1973 prices for 1973 quality goods and services wouldn't make you 5 times richer. You might even be worse off. That means our measures of inflation and the change in our standard of living aren't off by little, they're off by a lot. The average American is almost certainly doing a lot better than the standard numbers suggest. Of course, how much stuff people can buy isn't close to all we care about. The motto of life isn't whoever has the most toys wins. And even if the typical American is in fact doing a lot better than the numbers suggest, this doesn't mean everyone has a carefree economic life. Even if the poor and the middle class have made progress over the last 30 to 40 years, you can still argue the rich should pay higher taxes than they do now. But I don't think our economic system is rigged or broken, or that the American dream is dead, or that we need to throw out the current system and try to say socialism. But I do think the status quo needs improving. In the next episode, I'll suggest some ways how we might increase opportunity and human flourishing. See you then.